The girl just wanted to put on eyeliner in the car, but didn't expect the driver to brake suddenly. The eyeliner pencil went straight into her eye. Just a moment ago, the taxi driver told the paramedic, "There's a crazy woman in his car." Screaming like an animal, she didn't move after arriving.
She hurt?
I do nothing. Little bump. That's all. Tiny bump.
Sir, please. Okay, stay calm. Try not to move.
It hurts.
Okay, focus on me.
It hurts. I was putting on eyeliner. Get it out.
Due to the specific location of the injury, only surgeon could do the surgery. They could only choose to inject a dose of morphine to slightly relieve the girl's pain. The immediate priority is to find something to protect the eyeliner pencil.
I think I got something.
Hey, that's mine.
Build the CFD. Kathleen, we're gonna put this cup over your eye. I need you to stay still.
Okay.
Okay, let's get her to the back of the ambulance. Kathleen, can you walk?
I think so.
Okay, slowly.
Just a moment ago, a 9-year-old girl named Lily called 911. Two burglars had broken into her house, and in her panic, she ran upstairs. Since her family had just moved in, she didn't know the exact address. She only told the dispatcher that the house was brown and gave a street name mentioning there was a pink child like outside the door. This left the cop confused as the neighborhood was full of brown houses. To avoid alerting the burglars, Athena called in a fire truck and instructed Buck to drive down the street with the siren on. They hoped that once they heard the siren on the call, it would help them pinpoint Lily's location faster. Meanwhile, Lily quietly sneaked downstairs trying to escape, but one of the burglars spotted her. Luckily, she was quick and managed to hide under a table. At that moment, the fire truck passed by the house, and everyone on the call clearly heard the siren. Buck noticed the pink bike at the door, but just then Lily's mother, Emma, came home. To avoid giving away the situation, Buck quickly pulled her aside. Meanwhile, Athena entered the house through the back door. Lily, however, ran out again. The burglars caught her, locked her in a closet, and began preparing to flee. As soon as they opened the door, Athena was waiting for them. One of the men shoved his partner aside, and in a frantic rush grabbed Lily as a hostage. Lily bit him hard, forcing him to let her go. He tried to escape on his motorbike, but was blocked by an arriving police car. Desperate, he turned around and prepared to fire at Athena. Athena quickly told Emma and Lily to take cover behind the fire truck. The man tried to shoot at Athena, who was ready to strike, but the scene abruptly ended when Buck fired a jet of water, knocking the man off his bike. The woman was awakened in the middle of the night by the sound of a door opening. She suspected that someone had broken into her home. Despite the dispatcher's suggestion to stay where she was, the woman made her own decision. She quietly ran downstairs, only to find a door slowly opening. The woman screamed in terror, and the call was suddenly disconnected. Soon firefighters and cop arrived, but no intruder was found in the house. The woman was lying on the floor unconscious. With the help of paramedics, she quickly regained consciousness. Terrified, she tried to flee. Sergeant Grant asked her what she had seen.
It wasn't a man. It was a monster.
Buck rushed to check the kitchen, finding crumbs scattered on the floor. He slowly opened the pantry door, only to see the monster the woman mentioned, a cute little raccoon.
This is Buckley. We apprehended the suspect.
They thought the matter was settled, but the next day another rescue call came in from the same address. This time it was her husband. He had encountered another break-in. Before all the details were collected, the man on the other end was found, followed by the sound of a gunshot.
Sir, are you there?
The call was quickly disconnected. Sergeant Grant returned to the scene again to break-ins at the same address in less than 12 hours. She sensed something unusual, comparing it to the 10 similar recent cases. They found shocking similarities. Each time the thief seemed to know the place well, completing the heist within minutes, never triggering any alarms. Even stranger, every time the burglary occurred, the homeowners happened to be out due to a recent accident or medical emergency. That's when they would call for rescue. When dispatchers receive emergency calls, they usually ask many questions.
Paramedics can reset the alarm, ma'am. What is the alarm code?
Sir, fire department's on the way. You said you live alone?
Are there any dogs at your residence?
This was the common thread in all the cases.
They all dialed 911.
The information was always recorded by the dispatcher. In short, there was a mole. Two thieves robbed 10 houses in 3 days. Each time they made off with a full haul. The man stopped by a flower pot, casually picked up a pebble, and found a key hidden inside. He calmly walked into the house, entered a code, and the alarm was disarmed. All of this was possible because they had someone highly skilled guiding them, and that person was likely a 911 dispatcher. Whenever people called for help, the dispatcher asked many questions, and much of the homeowner's private information was exposed during those calls. Two officers noticed something suspicious and immediately began investigating the dispatch center. But strangely, Maddie checked the recent cases, and each was handled by different dispatchers, with different rescue teams sent out. Could their suspicion be wrong? Just as Sergeant Grant was about to leave, Maddie spotted something unusual. All the call records had been accessed by the same person,
Great, so who's our common denominator?
Maddie hesitated. The name on the screen was unexpected.
Me.
As a result, Maddie was temporarily suspended. She hid in the bathroom, drowning her sorrows in alcohol. But her husband's words made her realize something.
Weird. It's not like you're logging in from a coffee shop or something.
Someone close had stolen the codes. The person she'd been in frequent contact with was her assistant Noah. Maddie intentionally brought up the topic with him.
Maddie, they can't fire you. You didn't do anything wrong.
I mean, I love this place. Helping people, saving lives. You know what I mean? It's all gonna go away because of some stupid lost password.
You didn't lose your password, Maddie. I took it.
He explained that his stepfather owed money to some bad people, and he had no other way to raise enough money in time. So he passed along the addresses and security information to the intruders who stole expensive jewelry, but by then Noah's regret came too late. Maddie revealed a hidden microphone, and 2 officers walked in. In the end, Noah was led out of the dispatch center in handcuffs. If someone gives you $500 and a monitor lizard, will you be willing to eat cockroaches? Just now, there was a bizarre eating contest held here. However, the food was nothing else but protein that lizards love, like crickets and cockroaches. At this moment, the man in the shirt was at his limit.
Ah, jeez. That thing yours?
That's Claude. He's a grand prize.
Suddenly, the man collapsed to the ground. After examination, they found his airway was blocked, but with the use of a bag valve mask. In the next second, the man started spitting out crickets. At that moment, his pulse was weakening and he was in VFib. Chimney immediately began performing CPR. At the same time, Hen pulled out a pair of pliers. In no time, she retrieved a large, disgusting mass from deep in his throat. Soon, the man regained consciousness, and then he started spitting out swarms of lively bugs.
All this for a lizard, huh?
A monitor lizard and $500.
Just then, the woman beside them began mocking the man's failure, but right after, a multitude of cockroaches spilled out of her mouth. She had failed to.
I guess you're staying with me.
This girl had quite a stroke of bad luck, a palm-sized hole, yet she just fell right into it. Just as a truck was approaching, the driver didn't notice the girl on the ground. As the truck came closer and closer, she was completely stuck, unable to move. This scene was noticed by a firefighter, who rushed over and shielded her. It was fortunate that the driver noticed just in time. Both of them narrowly escaped disaster. Soon other teammates arrived. They tried to pull the girl out together, but they suddenly noticed the sharp edge of the hole had cut her thigh deeply. They couldn't use brute force, but they couldn't delay either, as prolonged compression could lead to compartment syndrome, resulting in the loss of her entire leg. Unexpectedly, the whispered conversation among the firefighters was heard clearly by the girl, which frightened her deeply. The firefighters had to comfort her while widening the hole. Seeing the girl becoming increasingly agitated, they asked if she wanted them to call her boyfriend. To their surprise, her girlfriend suddenly appeared before them, and because of this incident, she confessed her feelings to her girlfriend successfully. The scene surprised the firefighters on the spot, but eventually the area was cleared and the girl was successfully rescued. The train driver said he seemed to have hit someone, but the firefighters dared not act rashly because there was still high voltage on the tracks now. They could only search along the tracks first. Soon they found a boy under the carriage. The boy was still alive, but his leg was trapped in the axle.
My sister Kayla and me went into the subway through an access storage, but it locked behind us.
Only then did the firefighters realize there was another victim in the tunnel, so quickly continue searching. Meanwhile, the chief received a notification. The power of the tracks finally shut off. After double confirming, the firefighters brought some wedges and propped up the train with a gap. Finally, they could crawl under the train, cut the axle, and then extract the injured leg of the boy. After lifting the boy out, he was handed over to the paramedics. While on the other side, the team members kept searching for the sisters' traces. Entering the tunnel along the tracks, at this moment, Casey suddenly noticed a firefighter kneeling on the ground motionless. No matter how he shouted, there was no response. He went over to take a look. Poor girl had already been torn to pieces. Encountering such a situation, everyone's hearts were heavy. Casey could only console the firefighter